Hey guys, apologies for this situation. It is so cold and I got back from Sri Lanka the other day and I just can't acclimatise from 30-degree heat in Sri Lanka to this cold weather in the UK. So I've got all the layers on and I'm going to be kind of staying in my little cosy cottage, I think, for the foreseeable future, and trying to stay warm. But yeah, I'm back again today, and this time I've got a Q&A on how to travel to Sri Lanka, or any tips and tricks, I guess, anything that I learned from my time in Sri Lanka. I just wanted to pull everything together. I did a bit of a Q&A on Instagram stories last week while I was there and got lots of questions from you guys asking different questions around like when to go, is it safe, where to stay, all that kind of thing. So I just wanted to do a little video, check it on YouTube and kind of answer all those questions, and I'll also link down below the blog post as well, which is going to go alongside this video. So the first question that came in was pretty obvious, but where is Sri Lanka? And Sri Lanka is a tiny little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, just south of India, in Asia. And although it looks tiny, what we came to realise when we were there last week was that it's not as small as it looks. The island is actually pretty big, a lot bigger than the islands I thought it was sizable to, such as like Bali and Cyprus, which are actually pretty small compared to Sri Lanka. We only travelled across kind of a triangle of Sri Lanka, from Colombo to Sigiriya Rock to the south to down towards Galle, and that took a week. And I was really surprised that actually we were kind of rushing around for a week, and we would have loved to have seen a lot more, but we just didn't have enough time. So yeah, I would definitely say the island is a lot bigger than you think. The next question was, what's the best time to travel to Sri Lanka? And I would say all year round, to be honest. The island has a bit of a microclimate from the north to the south, east to the west, depending on what you want out of your trip to Sri Lanka, whether you want beaches, architecture, religion, culture, food, city life. I would kind of plan that first and then work out what time of the year you want to go. I've just been in February and the weather was beautiful. December to March is supposedly the best time to travel to Sri Lanka, so if you want kind of good weather before it gets too hot in the summer, because apparently in the summer towards June, July and August it gets very hot. Next question was, is a visa required for Sri Lanka? Now this is a bit of a difficult one to answer because I won't know where you're from, but if you're from the UK there is currently a free visa. The fee has been lifted at the moment since the Sri Lankan Easter attacks last year. The Sri Lankan Tourist Board have been trying to encourage more travellers to come to the country, and by doing so they've lifted the fee for a select number of countries around the world. I'm not entirely sure what countries exist on that list, but I do know that if you're from the United Kingdom, you do not have to pay a fee to get into the country. You do have to still apply for a visa, of course, so you need to do that online, but you don't need to pay anything to enter the country. Do you need vaccinations? This is one that I think I should have listened to before I went. I didn't really plan very well ahead of my trip to Sri Lanka, and 2 days before it dawned on me that I hadn't had any vaccinations. Now luckily for me, I've done backpacking through Southeast Asia many times over the last 10 years, and therefore obviously had gotten most of the main vaccinations you need, like Hep A, Hep B, typhoid, and generally in the UK we also have mumps and measles as children, and then we have top-ups later in life. So I was actually okay, thank God. But yeah, I would check your own medical records before travelling. They do recommend that you have top-ups of most of the main jabs that most Asian countries need. So yeah, I would just check online and then check your own medical records to see what you need. Where is the best place to stay? Now this is a hard one. We stayed at 6 hotels in 7 days, so I have some experience now staying in different hotels in Sri Lanka, which is really interesting. And I will do a blog post on where to stay in Sri Lanka as well. But I would say my favourite place to stay in Sri Lanka was Jetwing Lake, which was near Sigiriya Rock. It was about 20 minutes from where the rock is, and we just loved that hotel. It's very modern, wasn't traditional at all, so if you're looking for something more Sri Lankan tradition, then this isn't the hotel for you. But we absolutely loved it. It was set across kind of 2 or 3 buildings overlooking a lake. You could see the mountains kind of in the background. It was a very open space, felt very safe as well. I had a gorgeous pool out the front as well, so I'd definitely say that was probably my favourite hotel. We also stayed in Jetwing St Andrews as well, in I don't know how to say it, so apologies if I said this wrong, but Nurelia, and that hotel was just as nice, but also had the uniqueness of the Sri Lankan tradition as well. It was very traditional, but also very Scottish, oddly. I'll see if I can insert a picture at some point, because it was a really interesting hotel and a very old hotel as well. It's all to do with the tea plantations and the tea factories in the highlands of Sri Lanka, and when the British came over to basically run things. So the hotel is very British and, well, Scottish. Yeah, beautiful hotel. Favourite place in Sri Lanka? I would say, oh, there's so much, because we did so much in 7 days, but I would say that my favourite place was probably the elephant safari. We went up to, again, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Mineria National Park, which is an eco park, about half an hour, 45 minutes I think, from Segura, and it's where the national park has most of its elephants in Sri Lanka, and you can go on the most incredible elephant safari. You get in a jeep safari and they take you around the national park for about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how long you want, and yeah, you go on the hunt for elephants effectively to try and find them. We saw so many while we were there, so it was such an incredible experience. Make sure you check out my vlog from the trip and you'll see exactly what I mean, because we just saw elephants of all shapes and sizes roaming in the wild in the national park, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Me and Sandy absolutely loved it, and I just can't wait to go on safari again now, so I need to get another trip booked in. What's the religion in Sri Lanka? That was an interesting one. So let me get this right. Our driver Joseph, who was incredible by the way for the whole trip, he told me that the main religion in Sri Lanka is Buddhism. The second most popular religion is Hindu. I think he said the kind of joint third most popular is Tamil and Sinhalese, and then the fourth most popular religion in Sri Lanka is Christianity or Catholicism. So yeah, they're the most popular religions in Sri Lanka. And the last question, which I thought was really interesting, and it's something that I was kind of a little bit worried about before I went, to be quite honest, being a woman and just having experienced different situations all around the world, and especially in Asia, it was, is it safe? And I was worried about it before I went. I'll hold my hands up and say that, but I had no reason to be worried, quite frankly. The people of Sri Lanka are some of the most incredible people I've ever met. They're so friendly. I just don't even know how to describe it. You just felt safe all the time. And yes, we had a driver. We had our driver Joseph, who drove us around for the week, and obviously we had him to support us, and he obviously spoke Sri Lankan and a variety of other languages as well. So we did feel safe. We were able to talk to the Sri Lankan people super easy and never felt unsafe at all. So yeah, in answer to that, no, I never felt unsafe, and we always felt like we were surrounded by the most friendly people I've ever met. So yeah, I would say that's a definite yes, we did feel safe. So yeah, that's all my questions. Thank you so much to everyone who asked me questions. Sorry I couldn't get them all in. I only really have time for 10, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos from Sri Lanka as well, you'll love them. Give this video a thumbs up if you love the video, and please hit subscribe, because everything helps me to growing my YouTube and helping more and more people travel the world. So I'll see you next time. Bye.